So it's been said a few times when I make a video that criticizes something in Sims 4 that Sims players are entitled. I assume those are directed at me for complaining, but I've seen it directed at others on various platforms as well, so I want to think about this. Are Sims players entitled? I guess in some people's eyes, if you bought a product and have more expectations of that product that you received, by asking for more, you are expressing entitlement. That is not true, and that's not how anything works. Sims players aren't entitled when they complain about the thing that they bought. I mean, yeah, sure, they can move on from the franchise to its many competitors in the life simulation space. But people are willing to hope things improve or feel maybe someone is listening and might address their problem. So let's be honest, the word entitlement has a negative connotation, and anyone who uses it that way means it that way. Entitlement to me would be asking for more from a free product or asking for a handout and feeling entitled to it when no one owes you anything. It is far too strong a word to describe a Sims player who is legitimately disappointed about something they bought. Entitlement is not a concept related to products you buy, and especially not those that can be patched. Gameplay and features per buck got thinner, players request more. Denying this isn't doing anyone any favors. They are continuing to purchase it, so those players are entitled to criticize The Sims or to ask for things to change with it, especially given it's a game that's still being actively improved upon. They are entitled to critique in that they have an inherent right, just not the way this is meant. Hell, I know the never-ending requests must annoy the Sims 4 developers, but I believe they too would tell you that customers have this right. Even customers who didn't buy it. It's valuable to know why someone didn't buy the thing you made. What they would ask you to do is to stop being juvenile when you do use that right. They allow me to express my feelings about things I don't like while being in the Game Changers program. They just ask me to be respectful toward individuals. Now, this is another matter altogether from the extremely odd, be grateful you got this, and yet again, somewhere, someone is confusing capitalism with something else. Sure, we can be grateful when the developers add on things, but it's a matter of fact that just because you bought something and paid for it doesn't mean you need to be grateful for it. You are under no obligation to be grateful you got something you bought. You paid for it. People who say this seem to think that Maxis will just pack up because no one is expressing gratitude. We are closing our doors because people are ungrateful. I'm not making this up. I found examples of this exact thing. I'm just not putting individuals on blast here. Their metric of success for Sims is money made. A pack that sold poorly would influence direction. A pack that sells well will influence them to make more of similar. It's not about gratitude. It's a transaction between a corporation and the consumer they are trying to reach. People who say these things find other players' criticisms to be an annoyance, and when those players are being toxic, I can understand it. But the majority of people are reasonable and are not toxic. We just aren't as loud and do not deserve to be lumped in with little babies with keyboards. So, whether you like it or not, there is a point to complaints with video games, and if no one ever gave feedback, nothing would have ever improved. The developers have reacted to player requests hundreds of times at this point. Problems are addressed all the time in Sims, like with the 80-some patches that have been released. We do have a big one that is much harder for Maxis to address without detailed information that goes deeper than insulting them. Players have asked repeatedly for better gameplay. See, we think that expansion packs are doing this, but what we think each expansion should do looks more like this. We don't know if it's a fundamental direction difference The Sims has taken, but people in many fandoms invest money and time into things they are aggravated with. I paid $6 to rent Rise of Skywalker, and it was utter shit. I knew that was going to happen, but I had to see it for myself. I don't feel anywhere near that strongly about Sims. It's not the end of a 9-part series that spans decades. And I can make my own fun of Sims by using my imagination. The point is, fandoms invest money and emotional energy into all kinds of things they feel are imperfect. Anyway, even if you do not think there's a point to complaining or providing feedback, there is one, and it's one I've stated before. The Sims 5 is coming someday, and EA are going to take what people said of previous titles to hopefully ship those smarter Sims finally. Keep the solid build mode, free the babies, and add a freaking color wheel. While no one comment is going to do it, asking for more from this game is not entitlement. You're just entitled to do it.